That's why I got the impact.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the DigiPenEsports Project Fun Invitational. My name is Lakes, and I'm here with my boy Ronald.
Ronald Russell Vane Van. There we go.
We will be our commentators for the day. Our first match, Schwedlers Superheroes versus Jesse Sucks. Schwedlers Superheroes on the blue team for this match. Jesse Sucks on the red side. We're going to run you through the rosters real quick. Ronald, if you start us off with blue.
Here on the blue team, we got Anubis So 7, probably not Uter, Hot Grill 2, Marcus Archer Anarchy, and Sable Yet.
Sublide.
I'm bad at English.
On red side, Kimchi Igloo, Samish 16, Karu, Pyroclasm, and MG Taunter. Bands coming in so far, Jin and Rhaegar, dropped by blue side, Tryndamere and Nidalee, dropped by red. Now, the current meta is something I'm not incredibly familiar with, so I can't tell you whether or not these are the best bands, but they're nostalgic. I love seeing Tryndamere taken off the playing field. I remember the days of old when Tryndamere was rocking the Rift.
Very well then.
Fourth and fifth band, Twitch and Nidalee, taken off the scene.
Do you think they're coming in with a strategy?
Difficult to say. I gotta be honest. I'm not knowledgeable enough on the current meta. It's been quite a few days since I've hit the Rift myself. I'm looking forward to being enlightened by these players because we know that DigiPen has some very excellent League of Legends players.
Most likely.
Yes.
All right, we see both teams have been chosen. One character. We're still waiting on
So
Shisto.
these teams were drafted, which means that these teams were drafted and they are in role order. This is something we requested from the teams just to assist the commentators. That means that they will most likely be picking for their roles as well. So for blue team, we're going to have a Darius top most likely. You can also take a look at the summoner spells selected. That's going to be an indicator as well. Teleport and flash taken, and Darius for Anubis 67. Kimchi Igloo, is going to be taking the new character Leg Slice Lady. And Samish 16 can be rocking Rems in the jungle.
Are you sure he's rocking the jungle?
He will be rocking the jungle. That's almost certain because he's taken Smite and Flash. And like I mentioned, these teams were drafted, so these players did not have a lot of time to coordinate strategies and swaps in this pick ban phase before the match started. So, in case you're unfamiliar, they have the ability, once all champions are selected, to then swap out in between roles. So you can see any of these players on each team swap amongst themselves, but that really is only going to happen if players are familiar. They're going to be less likely under these circumstances to pick a character that they might not be playing. They want to pick someone who they're definitely good with right away. And as the tournament progresses, then they're going to become more familiar with each other, and they'll be able to select, oh, hey, you played Rammus really well in the first game.
And
How about I pick Rammus for you now, and then you pick something for me later on down the line so we can prioritize it. We'll see that as the tournament evolves throughout the day. A few more picks locked in on Blue's side. We had probably not Udyr with the goat thing that goes to the jungle. God, I wish I remembered. Oh, Kindred. There we go.
There we go.
I've always been terrible with champion names. I mean, there's so many nowadays.
Yeah, especially it's over 100 by now.
It's like 150, dude.
Yeah.
Hot Grill 2 with Soraka. Let's pray that's going to be mid. Oh, no, that's not going to be mid Soraka. So we've seen that the actual bottom champion selection on blue team is a Lux. That means there's going to be a swap there.
Yeah.
Misfortune will definitely be taking that AD carry spot. And on red side, they've also finalized their selection. That is Karu going with Orianna, likely in the mid lane. We're going to see Barrier and Flash taken. Pyroclasm, Heal Flash with Jinx, and MG Taunter going with Zyra. Another very nostalgic pick. I remember the days of Zyra support. Zyra-only support. Those were excellent days. I'm a support player myself, so very nostalgic for me. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be going into a 3-minute delay beginning in about 20 seconds, so a 3-minute and 20-second delay. When I say delay, I mean the spectator delay in order to ensure that there is no ghosting happening. This is something that was put in place by Riot Games in order to ensure safety for the players. And it's something that we appreciate as players, but as broadcasters sometimes...
It's a hindrance.
Sometimes. But we understand.
Yes.
Now, the way I usually go about ranking a team or analyzing a team as a whole is I go through each individual character and I will identify which attributes they have and which shameless game design plug, which affordances they give to each team in terms of things like engage, disengage, peel, all sorts of things. Things that you will recognize, Ronald, as an avid Dota player yourself.
Most likely.
Yes. So let's go through blue team. We have Darius, who is short-ranged. He is, he has excellent AoE. He's got great wave clear. In terms of his sustainability in the top lane, he is definitely played as a bully, but I want to think of him more as how he works with the team as a cohesive unit. I do not consider him an engager unless he's paired with someone who can give him a speed buff. He's got a nice short-range pull. Unless you give him some speed and you give him the ability to dive, he's not going to be able to do that. He's not going to be able to provide that engagement for the team. Disengage also won't be able to do that, considering that all he has is a pull, plus he doesn't have any hard stuns. But what he does have is he has massive burst damage if you can get him into the right position. So I've always considered him to be an engager with the right tools behind him, but a counter engager without those tools. It's always up to the Darius player to determine whether or not he should be the first one going in or whether or not he should wait and kind of finish out the fight, because he also has excellent cleanup ability. Kindred, disengage slash re-engage. She's definitely a very reactive character. She has some invincibility that she can provide to her team. What she does is she puts up a little field that causes the team to become unkillable for a few moments and then heals them. So their health will not go past 0 and then heals them back up. Soraka, an excellent healer, but we're going to see her down in the bottom lane, so we're not really going to see too much action from her. In terms of engage, disengage, not much. I would say she also falls into the re-engage category where the enemy team comes in, they deal damage, they feel as though they get that false confidence. Soraka has some of the largest heals in the game. The enemy team will get that false confidence, and then once they make that secondary engage and they try to push you a little bit further, Soraka's going to come in with the heals, and she's going to be the one to stop your characters from getting that death, stop that snowball from the enemy team within that isolated instance of the team fight. We have Misfortune. Boy, I'm not going to even be able to get to red team.
You're going to get it.
We'll make it faster for the next game, I promise. Misfortune, counter engage. Big counter engage. The enemy team is approaching you, and you pop that ultimate off. The more bullets you can hit with that ultimate, the better off your team is. So what she does is she puts out a huge cone in front of her of just wave of bullets. What's it called? Bullet storm? Bullet barrage? Something like that?
Bullet barrage, probably.
Yeah, something along those lines. And what she does is while she's doing that, she's static. She can't move. So what happens is, but it's got a nice long range, but it's easy to avoid if and only if the enemy team is running towards you or we're already in the center of its area of effect when you started casting it. If they're anywhere near the outskirts, it doesn't deal that much damage unless it hits you with a bunch of the bullets, unless you sit inside of its area of effect for quite some time. So what'll happen is she'll cast it as a counter engage when the enemy team is already moving towards her. And that was the defining theme for blue team in this game, was their ability to counter engage. Do not expect them to be incredibly aggressive here. They're going to want to sit back and wait for the enemy team to approach them, and then they're going to want to make actions. They're going to make reactive plays based on that. If they do not do that, if they end up being the ones who are the aggressors in this game, then it's not going to work out because Misfortune's not going to be in the right place to use her ultimate. Lux is also very counter-engaged. I didn't get to touch on Lux. Lux is also very similar. She can pick off characters in the back. She's best after the fact, not necessarily before the fact. So expect that we'll see blue team here playing a little bit more defensively. Camille. Camille is Slicey Leg Lady's name, but I think we'll stick with Slicey Leg Lady for the remainder of this stream.
Do you think Red's going to be thinking about that same strategy as you are right now?
It depends. Let's just do a quick overview of Red Team while we're looking at the loading screen here. We have Rammus, very engagey. Oriana, great synergy with Rammus. I don't know much about Camille. I know that she's very mobile, so expect that Camille is going to be the type of get-it-in-your-face character.
Yeah.
Oriana synergizes well with pretty much anybody. It doesn't really matter what sort of traits stick out for your team. Oriana's always going to be able to facilitate, because she has that wombo combo. What she does is she puts an orb on top of a character's head and then can basically boost that character. I don't want to say buff because they're not specific buffs. Of course, there is one kind of buff where you take less damage. You have a little bit more armor and magic resistance while the orb is above you or locked onto you. But she can speed up your position. She can speed you up. She can give you a shield from there, and she can also cast her ultimate on the orb, which is on top of your head. So add a little bit extra CC and damage. So she's basically a, what we could say, she basically just improves your situation, whatever it is that you're in. So she's one of my favorite characters. She's fantastic, and she's always been part of the game. We could say the meta game, no matter what era of League of Legends it was.
I think that would also add on well with Rammus' shield if he
Yes.
can pull that off.
Yes,
with her.
exactly. And Rammus being an engager, is going to be very easy for Oriana to get those, I don't want to say very high impact wombo combos off, but she will be able to get small picks out of it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Let's go.
Give us a little second. We're going to get
camera.
Yeah.
D. There we go.
There. All right. So the game just began, and we are starting in about 40 seconds in, approaching a minute, and it seems like the team's ready to do something.
Right now, this is a fairly standard start. You'll see that red side moves straight into the banana brush and then into the central river brush. What they're going to try and do is bait out here, but the fact that Camille is showing just completely reveals it. No one's going to be fooled by this. Soraka, excellent poke just to reveal. There's no real reason for blue team to ever have fallen into that trap, unless they were going to try something doubly sneaky and trying to sneak through that bush just in case the enemy wasn't there and make their way behind them and perhaps steal a jungle camp or something like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to make note that the analysis of red team identified that there's a very yin and yang situation going on here. Another shameless plug to Kindred. Blue team, very defensive, counter-engagey. Red team, very offensive, engagey.
Yes.
So expect that if red team gets the proper engage off, they're going to win the fight. If they don't, blue team's going to win the fight. It's all going to be about the first move. It is going to be a mid Soraka and a support Lux. That's actually very interesting. This matchup is one that I am unfamiliar with. I remember an era of League of Legends where Soraka was, in fact, a mid laner, but I also remember a League of Legends era where Ezreal was the best mid laner, so let's just forget those days.
Do you think those days are catching up on you?
No, well, God. I'd rather them not.
Yeah. All right.
Initial strategies here for teams are going to be to farm. League of Legends, as I know it, is a fairly slow game early. These first few phases are going to be farm worthy. They're potentially releasing characters that have a bit more kill potential, like Camille. You can see there's an engage here. Anubis getting low. Kimchi Glue, that's not necessarily something you can close at level 2, but a nice trade nonetheless. It's going to force Darius out of a few of his health potions. Now there is something new on the Rift that I am unfamiliar with, and that is plants. There are plants on the Rift now, ladies and gentlemen. If anyone in chat knows exactly what the plants do, please enlighten me.
Well,
or else I'm just gonna have to
let's
figure
assume
out.
what it is.
I'll have to figure out through speculation. I've seen some videos. Basically what they do is they provide buffs, if I'm not mistaken. Their spawn, they have set positions to spawn, but there's a limited number of them that actually appear on the map at any given time, if I'm not mistaken. And you can do something to them to trigger a specific effect, whether it be a buff or an explosion, a little bit of knockback. You can use it to save yourself from sticky situations. I think the question for me is whether or not they do always spawn in the same positions. We'll be able to figure that out soon enough. Nice trade in the bottom lane. These things early game, they're noteworthy, but it's nothing Nothing too impactful to the game. I'm excited to watch Camille. This is a character I haven't seen too much gameplay of. Of course, I've seen her intro video for when she was released, but in terms of how she's going to impact a team as a whole,
Kimchi's going for the kill again, it looks like.
not quite. He's a bit too close to the tower. These are just trades. She knows she has an advantage. And this is interesting because Darius is a bully in lane most often. So that favorable trade for Camille early on gave her the advantage here, and that's going to be very useful later on.
Oh. Kimchi
There
once
we go.
again.
The shield is going to save her a lot of damage. This might be a big engage. There's potential here. No, not. She had to back off. She had 4 stacks of bleeding on her. If she had continued that engage, she may have gotten the kill, but she would have traded her life away. Not worth under these circumstances. Pop the pots. You gain the advantage early on. You had that favorable trade. He's low on pots. You still have some to get yourself back up. He's most likely going to have to go back. Darius, that is. You can see he's doesn't have any trading potential here. Excellent kill.
Down.
Excellent kill from Kimchi. That is exactly what we would expect from a Camille. Rather, what I would expect from a Camille, based on what I've seen from her before. Very mobile, jump in, surprise the enemy.
Oh,
Another favorable trade. Bottom lane, Jinx low. Exhaust dropping. Low mana for both blue team bottom laners, but low health for red team. If they get a nice bit of poke off, they might be able to even things up. This is a dangerous situation. I would say play it safe, go back. And this is like a wet noodle fight mid. Nothing's going to come of this.
Are they going to continue with it?
My god. The aggressive Soraka. Teleport into mid as well.
Oh, Rammus
They did follow through. Tindamir might make the dive. Ramison as well. Hot Grill taunted. That should be a death.
Ooh.
Camille approaching. 2 kills for Kimchi Glue. Big time.
So do you think that red is kind of like more aggressive than blue at this moment?
Yes, they are. And remember, that was part of our analysis, that red is the aggressive squad. These are the attacks that they need to be making, not necessarily early, not necessarily late, but consistently throughout the game. And if they can continually get these jumps just like this, excellent ult from Kimchi, level 6 advantage. No reason to die there, but kind of gave up his own life. Bit of a misplay, but well taken advantage of by Misfortune Blue side. That's not a very large window of opportunity to get back into the game, but I think it's something that is not nominal. Probably not Udyr. Bad positioning. This is exactly the situation blue team does not want to be in.
Would this affect their defense for late game?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They need to be on even terms with red so that red doesn't have too much confidence. We want red to be in a situation where they're overconfident. Right now, if red starts steamrolling early and they get a big item advantage, then it's not going to be overconfidence anymore. It's going to be true confidence. Something that they can back up. You want red to go into a fight that they want to win, not one that they know they can win. And right now, blue are giving them opportunities where there really is no opportunity for red not to win, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Seems like mid's a bit of a struggle for both sides. Evenly matched.
Mid, I don't expect anything to happen mid. If there's a kill mid, I don't know.
Be surprised.
Yeah.
Oh, seems like another gank coming in. And
I meant mid v mid. I meant mid v mid kill. Not top lane fed top laner gank kill. I was gonna say I was gonna tattoo, but I'm glad I didn't get that sentence out before the kill. Kimchi, excellent motion. I know this is a bit after effect, but Kimchi making proper snowballing effort, continually aggressive, always there when the enemy is going to least expect it, and allowing himself to continually be in an advantageous situation within his own lane. So while still keeping control of his own lane, is making his way into others. There's the Misfortune ult that I mentioned before.
Yes.
Well placed. Blue team pick up another kill. Misfortune is now going to be their window of opportunity back into this game. 1 kill, that's okay. 1 kill, red team can give that up and still have a nice lead and still have a big advantage. 2 kills on the Misfortune, it's a bit dangerous. Now it's going to be, you can see that the kills are placed on single characters on both teams, both Kimchi Glue and Marcus Anarchy. That's going to be our matchup for the game so far, at least for the mid game that we're going to be transitioning to in a few minutes.
And it looks like Rammus is still continually jungling, and this time Koreas is still joining him.
Rammus is a jungler that stays healthy. It's very important. I'm not familiar with how it works in Dota. Another skirmish top lane.
Ooh.
Kimchi, that's big damage. See, this is the burst damage I mentioned with Darius. He can turn things around fairly quickly. Kimchi Glue went in there for something that he could not follow up on. Anubis has been farming in that lane, farming experience and gold the entire time that Kimchi was roaming around trying to make ganks. So that means he's going to make his way back just a little bit. We can see level 7 to 7. They're on fairly even footing here, maybe a slight item disadvantage for Anubis 67. But if Kimchi makes a mistake and goes in for an engage that he can't follow up on, then he's going to get punished by that burst damage by Darius. Another engage bottom lane. Rammus going to open up. Nice stun onto Kindred. Force the ult. Kindred going to be low. Does make his way out. Excellent ult from Soraka from long range, but Rammus still plenty healthy. Hot grill incoming. Rammus counter engaged. He stood in a little bit too long. That's the situation. He stayed in just a little bit too long. They turned on him. He thought he was going to be able to get the kill. Soraka comes in with big heals. Overextended, and now they're forced in a position where they need to run away. Now's a good time for Red to counter engage, though. They have good burst damage, but not going to happen. Kimchi Glue needed to be there, but Darius is doing a good job of keeping her top lane.
Yeah. And recalling again with one of the blue, two teams from blue, and it looks like Pyroclasm just continually just going to farm, it looks like.
Really nice team fight from blue side there, from Schwedlers superheroes. I mean, that was exactly, you saw it, right? That was exactly the situation that I was talking about, where Rammus gets a little bit over-aggressive.
Yes.
Actually, in that case, he was a lot over-aggressive, because Red Team really did have an advantage going into that fight. They had great CC, they forced defensive ultimates out, but then he just went in a little bit too far into the bottleneck. They really should have backed off and taken that Kindred ult in stride and said, okay, we forced that out, let's get out of here now.
Seems like Rammus is continually jungling this time still. Not struggling anymore.
Things are going to change a bit once Kimchi Glue gets back in the fight, though.
Yes. Seems like she might be going for a gank.
Yeah, that's when blue team aren't going to be able to handle the aggression. I mean, Kimchi Glue's still 4-0 if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, going for the kill.
Probably
and
not Udyr caught. My God.
Kimchi's not reckless.
My
Breathless.
God, dude. My
Like,
God.
She doesn't pity the
That was
opponent.
insane. What's her name? What's this character's name again? Do you remember?
I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Sissa? Camille.
Yeah,
Camille
yes,
OP,
yes.
boys. Camille OP. Good God. Nice combo. Zarya barely making out alive. Sublime should have thrown out that ultimate just a little bit earlier. It was a nice stun combo into some slow, but Sublime didn't quite have the reaction.
And it looks like Rammus just died to neutral creep, it seems.
No, he's
Right?
good.
Oh, no, he killed the neutral creep.
He
My
just
bad.
killed the Rift dude.
The Rift
that
shellfish.
weird mini Baron
Oh.
who sits in Baron's pit. He's like Baron's tenant. He just rents out the Baron pit
Oh,
while the Baron's on vacation.
going for a
There's
kill
an
again?
engaged top side. Kimchi Glue with the ultimate. Rammus to follow up. Anubis getting low. I do think. Great ultimate from Soraka. This potentially keeps him alive, unless he has the taunt coming off cooldown. If he gets a taunt off here, he's dead. Nice escape. Nice escape. That is huge for Darius. This is a bitter opportunity, too. Flash force at Zarya. Advantage blue, you guys. Advantage blue. Rammus's topside. This is going to give Udyr the opportunity to take this. No, it's not. Karoo. Nice ultimate. I don't think
she's
Udyr
gonna
saw
try
that
to
one
test.
coming. That's unfortunate for him. I think that was an excellent opportunity there. Blue team still get the dragon, though. Now Sublime and Marcus Anarchy trapped. 3 red members imposing. Flash force. He gets away, but Lux goes down. Marcus Anarchy staying alive is important. That's where all the gold is being funneled right now for blue side. Teleport top. They want to get this kill. Nice speed boost. They can turn this around unless Hot Girl gets taken out right away. He had the flash, thank goodness. Kimchi Glue getting low. Anubis has the damage to take on both these characters. Just needs Hot Grill to be safe.
And Red's gonna go take down middle tower.
Middle tower going down. Is this going to be first tower of the game?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And trying to defend. And
That's an excellent first tower to have. So this goes to show that initial strength that Red had in the first 10 minutes. That's what's going to give them that opportunity to take down the mid tower. Very valuable, but not game-breaking. I'd say that the 3 to 7 kill discrepancy right now is the only thing that is potentially game-breaking. It just depends on where the rest of the gold is funneled to. If Kimchi Glue continues picking up all the gold for the team, and this character is as much of a carry as she seems to be, then we should be in for, I don't want to say a quick match, because there's no such thing as a quick match in League of Legends.
No. Average 30 minutes, probably.
45.
45?
Yes.
Incredible. Looks like they're trying to push tower, but they're slowly just getting there.
Slowly.
Slowly. And probably not Uber still jungling.
Tryndamere. I haven't seen Tryndamere. Oh, of course, because Tryndamere's not in the game. I just saw Camille, and she looked like Tryndamere. And I remember that Tryndamere was, at some point, mentioned throughout the man phase. Camille very deep on Soraka.
Oh.
Nice ult usage. Nice ult usage there, though.
But Rammus is coming in to
Rammus is
help
coming
out.
in. He got the taunt. Great ultimate.
And
Bada bing, bada boom. 2 members blue side down. This is a big kill for Udyr. Can he get it? Not enough bleeds. Oh, he does get it.
He did.
Big bleeds, baby, big bleeds. Probably not Udyr. Shuts down Kimchi. Big kill for blue side, but they had already lost 2. So is it really a worth trade? I'd say it's about even in this case. You kill the fed top laner for red, while red kills your fed bottom laner and her support.
Looks like they're going to try to take down mid tower as well for blue.
I'd say that trade wouldn't have been even if it had been Kimchi Glue who had gotten those 2 kills and not Karu.
And down goes the tower again.
Yep, another mid turret taken. That puts 2-2. That's mid and bottom dropped on blue side, and mid and top dropped on red side.
Oh, Rammus. Oh, wow. Red team's cornering Darius right now.
Anubis caught, just caught, man.
Ugh.
Hot grill. That slow should be enough. Can Rammus find? Yeah, he should be able to. Pops the ghost. That's not a bad ghost. You don't want to have to tower dive too deep here against a re-engaged squad. Nice kill picked up. Anarchy, keep that speed boost. If Anarchy loses this speed boost, he might end up going down. He needs to stay away from that ult. Damage is heavy. Not a bad ult from Sublide. Probably not Udyr getting low. Force to pop the ult, only saving himself. That's not a valuable ult. Sublide doesn't even get the heal. Going to be taunted. Does Samish stay alive? He does. Pyroclasm picks up the kill. Another few. What was that, 3?
Yeah.
3 for 0 in favor of red. No, it wasn't 3 for 0.
3 for 1, I think.
3 for 1 in favor of red side. Favorable trade. 5-13 now in kills. Gold advantage up to 3.5 thousand. At 16 minutes, that's not bad. Actually, that's
like
good.
Kimchi's going to go for that top tower as well. Interesting.
Kimchi going to take advantage of the fight having taken place in bottom lane. Nice movement.
Trying to get away from that.
That wasn't a ghost popped, was it? I think that was. It might have been a ghost pop from a Hot Grill. No, it wasn't. He still got it on cooldown. It was just a talisman popped for Hot Grill too. Talisman is an item. It's a supporty item. It can be built on plenty of different characters. One of the great things about modern day items in League of Legends is that many of them are fairly diverse in the characters you can buy them on. I mean, usually it goes in between like tanks and supports sometimes share items. You won't see necessarily a tank building a mid laner's item. Another engage by Kimchi, too deep, under tower, takes too much damage. That ult, excellent damage, just enough to give Anubis 67 the opportunity to
it looks like
close out
Lux is chasing after
the dunk.
Yeah. Well, it seems like MG Taunter got away. The whole team's searching, but might lead up to it.
This is tight here. This is tight. If blue played too aggressive, they might be the ones dropping. Nice ult from Taunter, just to make sure to split things out. It's always going back and forth with the advantages here and the momentum in these team fights. Right now, blue team's pushing forward. That gives red the advantage, in my opinion, because they're exposing their squishy members. But then when they turn around and red team tries to disengage and blue team decide that they're not going to continue the pursuit, if red team then turns around and tries to re-engage on them after blue team have already decided they don't want to fight, that's when blue team gets the advantage back. So it's always going to be this dance when it comes to these team fights. And red team would be smart to try and make their team fights happen in very isolated instances. Gank-oriented team fights, just like this. I'm not sure how much vision they know that blue has, but they need to be able to pick off individual members on blue before blue can group up and be prepared for disengage. Just like this. Nice taunt. Udyr Another ult forced only on him. He's not going to get much benefit out of it. That is not a very valuable ultimate. He gets a bit of damage, but not enough. Red team now potentially going to continue the pursuit. Blue needs all of their members here. They need every single ultimate they can get. Anubis taunted, tanking things up. Ori ult completely whiffs. That's unfortunate. It was a flash whiff, though. Flash forced whiff. Blue team, they might get a successful disengage. It depends on how deep Rammus is willing to go. And it looks like Red's going to back off. That's perfect amount of aggression right there. You only go for what you know you can get. If they had gone any deeper than that, I would have been saying that they were delving into the territory of Yang, like I mentioned earlier. They're the yin. They'd be delving a little bit too far into the Yang, and we all know what happens when yin and yang become imbalanced.
Looks like they're hunting them down right now.
There we go.
Ooh.
Nice engage from Kimchi. That's the type of gank-oriented play that we needed. You got to isolate individual members on blue team, force those ults out, low value. Kimchi might even go down here. There is that bleed. I think he will. Finds the heal and the jump. Beautiful. Kimchi handed a few more kills on a silver platter.
It looks like Lux sent out her ult just to see if they were still in there. But
Red team has now picked up a massive lead.
Yes.
Lead. This is something that I think is going to be very difficult for blue team to come back from. 5K, 20 minutes in. It's a lot more difficult to do that now than it was 4 or 5 years ago in League of Legends. So this is one of those things that the blue team are really going to struggle with.
most definitely.
Especially with the plants. I mean, the plants make such a huge difference.
At this point, do you think that blue is going to try to re-strategize their fight against red now?
I mean, what really can they do? When determining what their next move is going to be, what you want to do is look at their line of scrimmage. If you take a look at the cursor, you'll see that. Oh, I wanted to go back and directed camera. Oops. Is it D? Yeah, directed camera. So if you take a look at the cursor, you'll see the line of scrimmage is the area in which blue team controls, in which they have safety, their safe zone. Right now, all three of their outer turrets have been taken down. Uh-oh, engage. Hot Grill, you're caught out, bro. Come on, buddy, you can't be that deep. That he was not in his own safe zone. He was past his line of scrimmage, which is connected from all of their three inner turrets. Right now, this is not their safe zone either, and you can see exactly where they're being punished for it. Red team, nice quick engage. They have quick CC that they can chain together.
Looks like
And now red team, after losing one member and having health taken down, or excuse me, blue team, after losing one member, they can't even run back into their own safe zone. Red team, they just have too much speed. Ooh, nice shot. Nice shot. There we go. That's at least a parting gift for Lux. Another potential kill here. Kimchi Rampage. I wish I knew what the hotkey was to bring up those stats.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out for next game. Or I can just face roll. Hold on, let me try to face roll real quick. Oh, hey!
Oh, nice.
Nice. First try, baby, first try. So 9-3, Kimchi killing the game. Line of scrimmage has been reduced even further for blue team. So you look, they're missing an inner tower center. They have inner on top and bot. So their line of scrimmage connects from the outer turret that they hold on the bottom, back to the outer turret that they hold on the middle, and then to the outer turret they hold on the top. So very deep, red is going to be able to push. That means that red is going to have vision control all in their jungle, blue side blue jungle, and blue side red jungle. This is where you can determine between a team that knows how to snowball and a team that doesn't. Because red should be encroaching blue team's base. They have a massive advantage. They need to force fights, and they need to start them quickly and end them quickly. If it doesn't look like this fight's going to work out, thank you for the keybind support chat. I love you. Another engage. Kimchi picks up the first kill. Exactly what they need to do. Start it quick, end it quick. Hot Grill isolated. Taunted. Maybe a bit too much chain CC. That taunt could have been used on the next character. That might allow probably now Uter to escape. I don't think that Kimchi's going to have the CC to keep her at bay. Marcus Antony, nice ult. Picks up one kill. Kimchi shut down. Blue team turning things around. Give the Darius the dunks, and he will take advantage of them. Nice ult from Pyroclasm coming in from downtown. Secures the third kill for red side. That's 2-3. Not a bad trade on blue considering the disadvantage that they're in, but red team's still going to have the opportunity to push. Now, one thing we didn't account for is siege as a statistic, as a characteristic of red team, and they have excellent siege. both with the Rammus ult as well as the Jinx here. So when red team gets the opportunity, especially in this mid game, to hit a tower, is going to die. It's not just going to be a little poke fest where it's like, whittle it down whittle it down in between each minion wave. No, it's when they get a chance to attack it, they're going to dive it and they're going to kill it. Not a bad ult from Sublide. Almost picks up the kill, but
Looks like red is backing out.
Red is backing out. That would have been an overextension. You could tell that was one of those points where somebody on the team said, hey, guys, I think we should probably leave. We should probably leave. They had a pretty nice team fight last time. We could lose this. And it's the right decision.
Because their goal is already just taking down the tower and just leaving the inhibitor just open wide.
Your goal is to snowball. What you want to do is you want to give yourself as big of an advantage as you can, spread out throughout the entire map. You're making a mistake in most circumstances, unless you've built a team comp specifically for it, which is, and under these edge cases, usually a poke comp. Probably not Udyr caught. Is the ult there? Is it going to be used? Yep, there it is. All of these very low value ults being forced out of Probably Not Udyr. Kindred, a very strong champion, a very strong ultimate, but as an opposing team, you want to ensure that you get those low value ultimates off. Nice triple knockup from Taunter. Kimchi Glue is actually isolated here. They really need to take her down. This is going to be a big kill for them. Doesn't get the jump over the wall. That's very unfortunate. Great pull, Anubis. This should be a fairly easy kill for him. Kimchi, do what you can. Uh-oh, Sableye now going to be caught out. That's going to be another kill for Kimchi, turning things around. That's very unfortunate. I'm going to go ahead and say it now. Camille OP, bros. Camille OP.
Ooh.
Another kill for Kimchi. The burst damage is just too high. I can barely even follow with my eyes. Marcus Anarchy taken down. Nice ultimate from Orianna.
Team wipe.
Secures 2. Team wipe for for red side. Something that we expected. Once again, blue outside of their safe zone. They're moving outside of their line of scrimmage. You need to control what you know you can control, especially when you're down in a game like this. So often people end up getting under the impression that if I want to come back in this game, I need to make a big, crazy play. No, you need to protect what you can. Kimchi Glue, is it even worth saying? Another ace. That's double ace. These towers are going to fall so fast, and they can continually make picks here. If they continue to be aggressive and pick off individual members of blue side, which would be difficult, now that there's 4 of them back, but that would have been a way in. Let them trickle in, take one down at a time, and take what you can, especially with this excellent siege that we have coming in from Jinx. Jinx, her attack speed increases as she auto-attacks. She has stacking attack speed increase up to quite a large amount. It only has 5 stacks, but it gets up to quite a bit of speed bonus, so you can only imagine that she takes down turrets very quickly.
So Team Red just got their dragon, and now the buffs are on them.
That's their second dragon. That's a wind dragon, if I'm not mistaken.
Most likely.
Back in my day, we only had one colored dragon.
Is it Baron?
Is it Baron time?
No.
It could be Baron time. I don't want to claim that it's Baron time.
No, it might take a little while.
It looks like they're going to be going back. They might reposture at Baron in order to try and force something out. Now, how do you close a game? How do you close a game at this point? Your red team, you're up 11,000 gold, almost 30 minutes in. What do you do in order to win at this point? How can you make this a 30-minute game and not a 45-minute game? I'd say Baron is that call. You stick around Baron, you force blue side to come out of their safe zone, and we're talking for a blue team even to get into the Baron pit, they pretty much have to go so far to that side of their safe zone that they can't even fight. But they have to do it if you're red team and you're sitting in the Baron pit waiting for them. So you don't start the Baron, you just sit there. And let blue team clear a couple minion waves, just sit there, force them to come to you, make an engage, or take the Baron. I mean, this is classic League of Legends, something that you're going to see in every single professional game that you watch, the Baron bait.
Seems like red team is trying to go for top.
Red team, yeah, this aggressive play here is interesting, unless they're going to push this top red turret and then instantaneously transition up to Baron. Unless they can do this, Marcus Anthony forced the ultimate out from Soraka really quickly. Darius now going to be engaged. One already felled for blue side. Make that one and a turret. Nice ultimate, but nobody going down quite yet. The ultimate from Probably Not Udyr coming out a little bit too late, only after 2 members of blue team have died. Make that 3. Double kill for Jinx. Triple kill for Jinx. Nope. Not going to get the penta.
Oh,
Only triple. Orianna ended up actually taking those last 2. And it looks like with that engage, red team are simply going to take the match. That is GG, ladies and gentlemen. Jesse Sucks taking game number 1 of today's League of Legends tournament, brought to you by DigiPen Shotcasting Club. Congratulations, Jesse Sucks. In my opinion, they should have played a little bit more defensively. There were opportunities that blue team had. To really play to their strengths, because red team was playing right into their strengths. It was a very yin and yang thing where the line in between winning and losing for both teams was very fine, but if one of them started snowballing, it's the nature of League of Legends where that gap can be grown very quickly. Red team continually engaged. Red team were continually putting themselves into a position where they were getting the ultimates out of blue side. And that's what blue side wanted. They want to use their ultimates. But they ended up using them at just barely wrong times. Kindred oftentimes getting forced out, using that ultimate on herself. Miss Fortune did pick up a couple of kills, but they were only isolated instances in the bottom lane. They weren't big team fight kills. That's what Miss Fortune really wants. You want to fit as many people into that ultimate as you possibly can. And Darius getting bullied early game by Kim Chi-Glue definitely didn't help at all either. So very well played by Jesse Sucks, and better luck next time to Schwedlers Superheroes. Thank you all for tuning in. We will go into a short break now, and when we come back, we will have more League of Legends for you. Thank you so much.